All our lives, we've been told to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you'll be set. How's that working out for you? I'm TaVona Denise, physical therapist turned life and business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you create a life you love and a business on your terms. If you want more time, more freedom, more flexibility, I can help you create it. Welcome to Breaking Protocol, the show for women in healthcare who want more. Oh my goodness. We have Heather Hammell in the building, and I am, as always, when I get to talk to another human being, super excited because we are going to talk about what her experience has been like over the past few months. And so that I don't mess things up, Heather, will you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yes, I am Heather Hammell. I am a life and business coach now. When I first met you, I was a myofascial release therapist seeing patients in my office, and I am not doing that anymore.
Right. This was right around when COVID hit. So what would you say the biggest challenge you were facing when we first met, like right after COVID?
Yeah, I think it was just really trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Did I want to still see patients? Did I want to do something different? Like, how was I going to pivot? Because things were closed for a long time. And I met you around the time where things were going to open back up again for me. And I was having a lot of hesitation about going back. So I met you at like just the right time.
Why were you having some hesitation about going back, would you say?
I think I felt pressured, like going back was what I was supposed to do. And that was the right thing. Like there was a right or a wrong thing to do. And working with you really helped me see that I had complete control over what I was going to do next. And it didn't need to be a right or a wrong choice. Like I needed to make choices that were best for me and my interests, and, finding a way that I could serve people still and be a helper, but I didn't have to do that in the traditional way that I was used to.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it was at a time where, like you said, things had been closed for a while and then things were opening back up and it was still a little scary and sketchy. And should we be that close to people? I mean, you were in the clinic putting hands on people, so there was very close contact.
Yes.
So you were in the middle of trying to decide what should you do. Should you open up or should you close? Now, what would making that decision mean for your business and for you personally?
Well, it felt at the time like super risky. Like I was somehow giving up everything I had worked so hard to get. I had gotten to that expert level with myofascial release. I was being an assistant for classes, and myofascial release was my life. Like I had like taken it on as an identity. I couldn't really picture myself not doing it. And without it, it was really scary. Like when I would imagine doing something else, it was just like this black hole of like, I don't know what it looks like. And for me, I've had this idea that I need to know what something's going to be like, even though that's not even reality, right? We never know what things are going to be like.
We think we do.
We think we do, yeah. And that was one of the things that you really helped me walk through is, well, when you first started out as an MFR therapist, like you were a massage therapist before that, you didn't really know how it was going to go, but you did.
And what were you before you were a massage therapist?
I was a social worker.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had already made big transitions in your life.
Yeah. And I remember back to like when I had my social work degree and when I told all my social work friends, like, well, I'm going to be a massage therapist. And they were like, what are you doing? But I had so much confidence. Like I did not care what anyone else thought at that point, So I was just trying to kind of like recreate that energy in my body of like the things I was thinking then to help propel myself forward in this adventure too, because it took me a little while to kind of like find my footing and find my confidence in making that be what I was going to do, like making that decision.
And it's interesting, like you said, it took you a while to find that footing. And so that's on the business side. But what happened personally for you as well as you were still trying to find your footing and we were still coaching together?
Yeah, so much. It feels like I talk about it like it was this long stretch of time, but it was like days, it was really quick. I mean, for 20 years, I've been struggling with relationships with a part of my family. And it was just kind of like spilling into everything in my life, because you can't really get away from your family. There's going to be holidays, there's going to be birthdays, like there's things that's going to come up. And like every time that would come up for me and like we weren't invited, or like we found out company was in from out of town and they got together without us, like it would hurt so much. Mm-hmm. And I would make it mean like that I was somehow a bad person. I'd gone to counseling and the counselor was like, oh, you're just dealing with narcissists. But I was like, I don't want that to be the answer. Like I want to have good relationships with my family members, like I want to be a part of their lives and I want them to be a part of my lives and my children's lives. Like that just seemed to be something that was so pressing. And in like an hour, I was sitting in my kitchen, my house was under construction. My husband was like sitting in the kitchen too, like off camera. We were on a Zoom call.
I saw him walk behind the camera once.
Yeah. Like the kids are walking in and out and I'm just like, listen, everyone in my family, they're jerks. And you were like so calm and you helped me walk through all of that and take all of my power back in that situation. And actually like the same day, I just like invited myself over to my sister-in-law's house and was like, I'm bringing a meat tray. I'm coming over. And everything has been so awesome ever since then because I just made a decision to think about it. I didn't even know I had that as an option. Right. So it was pretty incredible. I was epic, I would say. Yes.
Oh, so cool. I love that for you because it's like you came wanting to make a decision about your business and part of it, your life got better. Yeah. I love that.
It bleeds over into everything.
Everything. It's like one of my mentors told me one time, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if business is relationships and you have a funky relationship anywhere in your life, it's really going to affect the business relationships, the relationships we have with our clients. And of course, if you're not having good relationships with your family, then maybe that spills over into your energy when you're trying to market or when you're trying to sell or when you're trying to interact with your clients, for sure.
Yeah. When you're sitting there thinking like everybody just hates you, like that's really what I was thinking. Like just everybody hates me. I think I had that thought a lot of the time. I'm just glad I don't have that anymore. It's just fun to not have that holding me down.
That makes my heart smile. Okay. So are there any other parts specifically that you can think of that have made the impact?
Yeah. Specifically, like to me, I found out so many things about myself and how I make decisions and how I move forward with things. And I was doing a lot of needing to ask permission for everything I was doing. Like I kept asking you, like, well, what should I do next? How should I do this? How does this work? And I realized like I was doing that all the time. I was taking so much time to like call a friend and be like, well, what do you think about this? And now my decision making is so much smoother and I'll catch myself needing to ask for permission, but I kind of like catch myself, so things are smoother. They're not just a little smooth. They're way smoother. I've got a ways to go, but it's work in progress.
So besides the wonderful new relationship you have with that part of your family, what other results could you speak to?
Well, I'm a life coach now. I mean, that's pretty big. Like I totally changed my business model. I no longer treat patients. Now I'm a life and business coach to other therapists that are trained by John Barnes that are looking to start their myofascial release businesses. So, I mean, it's totally different than what I was doing. But I'm so happy. Like I have this mission to help as many myofascial release therapists start and operate their businesses, set them up correctly from the beginning so that they can kind of eliminate those pain points that a business owner without guidance would go through. And then they can go out into the world and help so many people get out of pain and lead active lifestyles. So it's like I can kind of touch many more people than if I was just seeing patients in my clinic.
Right. Because if those practitioners don't effectively get their business up and running and get to a place where they have clients, then those people are not being served. So that's amazing. But okay,
Yeah.
we're on the rainbows and daisies side of things. But there, of course, was still
Yes.
some drama during
Yeah.
the transition. So
Yeah.
what can you tell me about that? And
I
how did
think
the coaching help with it?
so. I feel like I went through this transitional period where I just felt like I really didn't know what I was doing. So I had that thought, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I would just kind of do nothing.
Mhm.
And then we would meet and we would talk and I would be like, oh yeah, I guess I could have been doing that. Like you would give me like these ideas and suggestions without really telling me the answer. You never tell me the answer.
Y'all hate that, but I love y'all for it
I
because I
know.
want you to be independent.
Yes,
Independent thinker.
which is so great, right? And when I look back to like where I was and where I am now, it's just so funny. Like I was so cute back then when I just kind of sat there doing nothing. And even in like our one-on-one and then in our group, I would come to the group like, I don't even know why I'm in this group. Not even sure what I can add. And then now it's like it's so valuable to be a part of that group and to hear other women talking about what's going on with them. Like it doesn't have to be exactly what you're doing.
Right.
Who
Like you
knew?
forget how much of a badass you are and how brilliant you are and
Right.
all the things that you've done.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
Totally.
tell me one of the big things that you've done. Like you said, it feels like a million moons ago.
Yeah.
It was really like
So,
3 months.
there's a couple of things. So, I am going to the life coach school now. So, I
Uh-huh.
am back in school, which is awesome. I feel like I've figured out what I want to be when I grow up for this part of my life.
Mm,
I'm really excited. And then the other thing was I am almost finished with writing a book.
what?
Yeah. So that's coming along. And, I kind of like got stuck in the middle of that where I was like, I want to write a book. And you're like, write down everything you know. And so I did. And I like had all the content for the book right then and there. But I was really just sitting there going, I don't know what to write. I just don't know.
Right. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to
Hmm.
help. I don't know what to write.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's so interesting because people just say, I don't know, dot, 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 like it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I do, and I try to hold this space for my clients, is no, you do know. And so if you find yourself, you're listening to this and you find yourself saying, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, I don't know where to get clients, I don't know. Stop for a second and ask yourself, well, what do I know? And it
Yeah.
is amazing how much stuff just comes out just like that.
I
So
do
you,
it daily because my first inclination just out of habit is to want to ask someone else.
mhm.
So I
Or
hear
say, I
your
don't
voice.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or say I don't know. And I hear your voice. You're like, what if you do know, Heather?
That is too funny. So you recently had a big win. So you went through the drama of the transition and you decided for real, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to help support all of these John Barnes trained myofascial release people. You
Yeah.
started writing your book. And then you just told me the other day something exciting happened.
Yeah. So I've got my first client that I'm helping.
And they're
Super.
paying.
And they're paying. And I am just so excited to help them. And like to get to that point, I needed to let people know what I was doing. And I was a little bit stuck in the fear of like, oh, what are people going to think? And I got over that with coaching with you and just put myself out there and I just keep doing it. It started with just posting on Facebook every day. Now I'm doing lives, and then I also like just contacted John Barnes and was like, this is what I'm doing. Is it okay to let, people in your group know? And it was okay. And I was like so afraid to ask for permission to do that. I'm just so glad that I didn't let that keep me from doing it because I wouldn't be able to help this person that needs my help and all of the people out there that are coming that need the help. They just don't even know they need it yet.
There's that, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you talked a little bit about decision making and that kind of thing. If you could finish this sentence, how would you finish it? I almost didn't sign up for coaching because.
Yeah, I almost didn't sign up for coaching because I didn't really know what the results would be, right? Like I didn't know if I'd be able to do all of the things that you were going to maybe expect of me.
Let's talk
I
about
just
that for
didn't,
a second. What
yeah,
did you think I would be expecting of you?
I don't know. I honestly like didn't even know what was happening. I think it all just worked out in perfect timing. And I'm just so proud of myself that I made that decision in the moment. I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm doing it for me. I just knew and trusted that things were going to be mind-blowingly better by the end. I just had that belief that that's what it was going to create, but I didn't know what was going to happen.
Wow. You had no vision of the future. You had no idea. You just decided in that moment that it was going to be way better in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't even know really what coaching was.
And here you are later, like,
here I am.
I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, it's awesome.
For sure. And getting paid, by the way.
And getting paid, yeah.
You just started class September 21st, and you're already getting paid. If you're listening to this, I want you to hear me well, that she just started. Heather just started life coach training September 21st. She's already getting paid as a coach. So whatever excuse you got, let's talk about it so I can help you remove it.
Yes.
Okay. So let's ask this question. Who would you recommend coaching to with me, and why?
Any woman out there that is in business, even if you don't have your own business and you just want your life to be better, working with you would be worth it. There's just so many possibilities. I think half the time we spend together, we're working on like my life stuff, and the other half we're working on actual business things. It's really just building the belief like 100% in the person that you're working with, like getting them to see that it's all up to them what they're going to believe about themselves. Like you can't just give it to me, right? Like I have to do the work and make the decisions, change the thoughts, change the habits to get the results that we want. I think pointing out like, well, what result do you want? What result are you currently getting? Is so valuable. Like, cause you don't really stop and break things down so much, right? Life just seems to kind of happen to us sometimes. And that's how I felt. I was in this whirlwind of life happening to me. And that's not the case anymore. Like I am happening to life now.
So good. So good. So anything we missed, any last words? Oh, what's your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part is being exposed to so many new things and new ideas and new people. I think being in your circle, like just meeting people I would have never had the chance to meet. Yeah. And just see other people's perspectives on what's going on with their businesses. It's so fascinating. And we all kind of have the same fears and drama in our lives. And it's just nice to see that you're not alone and it is okay. Like even if you have a lot of drama, or you've been involved in a dramatic life before, like it doesn't mean that things are always going to be like that. There's so much possibility for change if you just allow yourself to get the help that you need to make the changes. Yeah.
And here I was thinking you were going to say all the faces I make at y'all over Zoom.
Oh yeah. Also, that's a bonus. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know you have to run, so thank you so much for being here, for sharing your experience with people, because I think it's very helpful for others to know that you're not the only one having these thoughts, these fears, these concerns, these worries. And thank you also for sharing your experience on the receiving end of what coaching has done for you and what it's like for you. And so if you're listening and you want to experience the power of a coaching conversation, go to TaVonaDenise.com/momentum. And I will link up how to connect with Heather in the show notes.
Thanks, TaVona.
Absolutely.